Sorry, guys. Assalamu alaikum. Uh, Crazy stuff. I thought we were on Mahdi's channel today. Turns out we're actually on my channel. So I didn't even prepare the broadcast. I was like totally unprepared. So, you know, sorry about that. I gotta go camera off real quick so I can get all my equipment hooked up again here, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. Testing, testing. There we go. Nice. Okay, sorry guys. Like I said, I was unprepared there for a second. No sound? You can't hear me? Camouflage is here. Wa alaikum assalam. Keep me in your du'as. I'm in the hospital. You have our du'as. Yeah. Akhi Kareem. Barakallahu feek. Marlon, you there? Your mic is muted. What's good, man?
All is good in the hood. Just another day
Okay.
here in paradise.
Nice, nice, nice. Marlon is actually from the men's community. I was totally unprepared. I thought I was on Matthew's channel. I really did. So I didn't even prepare the live show, guys. I apologize. I was totally unprepared with topics, all this type of stuff. I'm normally, I got something for a lot of bad boys today. I am off mark because, well, yeah, like I said. So let me pull this up here real quick. How's everybody out there been doing otherwise? How y'all people been doing in the chat? Allahu Akbar. There's like 9 million messages here, man. I'm sorry, people. If y'all message me and if I see that I responded, I'm just deleting your message on my website, guys. I'm gonna have to kill it because it's like there's just too much here. Oh. Matthew will be coming. He said he's running 10 minutes late. Am I getting corona around too? Nah, I'm immune. Mahdi is coming. He just said he's gonna be 10 minutes late. Okay, well, I don't have anything. People send me messages all the time. Fatima, what you got against Mahdi? That's my homie. What you got against him? Tell me what you got against Mahdi. Come on, out on the AbuAmerican sofa. Let's get it out here. Tell me what's going on with Mahdi. Why you don't like the brother? Okay, you like Gabriel. All right, he's got good manners. He does. He has very good manners. He has very I don't know how to say it. He speaks in a way that's good for everybody. Gabriel, he don't make nobody mad, so that makes sense, But there's some of us out here. We Hey, bro, come on the show, man. I put it in the men's community. The link is there. Go in the main room and jump on board, man. Jump in. Yeah, he has like a soft delivery. He's got like, Gabriel's got a really nice, easy, relaxed type of delivery that, most people ain't going to be upset about or upset with. He's not really. I mean, he tackles controversial topics, but he does it in such a very smooth way, that kind of everybody is just sort of like, yeah, And then we got brothers like us. We just out here like, Like here he is, the man himself. There he
Assalamu
is.
alaikum wa
Like,
rahmatullah.
I was giving some sister I was giving the sister some therapy. She said she don't like you, so I was like, can you get up on the sofa here and let's talk this out.
She said she doesn't
says,
like who, sorry?
She said she don't like you.
Oh, okay, well, she can join the queue.
You gotta get her to speak from the Quran and the Hadith. I hear you. You know what you talking about right here. You know Marvin. You know Marlon. Yeah, he's in the men's community, so you know
Yes,
Marlon.
yes, I recognize the name, mashallah.
How are
Bro,
you?
I
Sir?
ain't gonna
How are
lie.
you?
I just threw it in the group because I was like, oh man, I'm not ready. I thought we were on your channel, so I made the stream like right now.
Subhanallah.
I didn't
Alhamdulillah.
even have the StreamYard link ready.
Marlon, how you doing, akhi?
I'm doing fantastic, sir. How are you?
Very
By the
good,
way, I
alhamdulillah.
enjoy all your shows as well.
Jazakallah khair. Appreciate it, akhi.
Keep up the great work. Keep up the great work.
Jazakallah khair. Barakallah fiqh.
Fatima, and I like you because you're very open about polygyny and giving real life experiences. Fatima, you got to come on the show. Maybe you know if you're a real female. Sometimes we got these guys in here acting like women. What's your experience with and what's your opinion on
That's so
polygyny?
true.
We're gonna have to. I ran into like 5 or 6 of them. They're dudes acting like they're women. It's the weirdest thing.
That's so
Fatima,
true.
you have to drop your feelings on polygyny here sometimes in the comment section. Yeah. So anyway, bro, do you have something? Because I was like I said, I was unprepared. You usually you're really on point with stuff like when you come on the show and everything. When I come over on your channel, you're like always like on lock with stuff.
Well, you know what? Hold on, I just dropped my phone. 1 second, akhi. There we go. I actually did a very hot button topic yesterday, hot button live, if you like.
Okay.
And it was regarding it's basically parental alienation.
Oh yeah.
And specifically mothers depriving fathers from seeing their children, with completely unfounded, which is very common. And subhanAllah, I started this live. Let me turn this phone this way. It's no good. I started this live yesterday because obviously I've been through this. I'm still really going through it, to be honest. And it's emotional, wallahi. Like, I didn't realize how difficult it would be for me to deliver that live. And I know brothers as well who are going through much worse situations than what I am. Like brothers who they had a divorce. He had a divorce with his wife. All it was irreconcilable differences. And now she's deprived. So one brother I'm thinking of in particular, he hasn't seen his daughter for 2 years. When I asked him, why is she stopping you from seeing the daughter? He said to me, what she told him was, you have made me a single mum. Even though she requested the divorce, by the way, you have made me a single mum. And now my chances of getting married again to the type of man that I want to marry are slimmer, less likely. And as a result of that, now I want to punish you. You need to be punished. And what I concluded from this was women who deprive their father, the father from seeing the children, do it because they are in some type of pain themselves. And I'm not justifying it. I'm simply saying there's a motive behind it. And typikally it's connected to a pain that she herself is experiencing. Whether it's warranted or not is irrelevant. And it's a real problem, AbuAmerican, because this is something that in the Western world, Muslim or not, but it's worse if you're Muslim, to be honest with you, because the Sharia has come to eradicate all of this. But Muslim or not, men globally, particularly in the Western world, are going through this issue of parental alienation. And I had one gentleman come on. He came onto the stream when I opened up the line. He said, I know of a family personally who the kids went through the same thing. They were alienated. I have a feeling he was talking about himself, but I can't say for sure. They were alienated from their father. They grew up hating their father, actually, until they became adults themselves. And then he said, finally, we were able to, form our own opinions based upon information from the different parties. And we realized that our mother had a vendetta against our father. And I asked him, so how do these people feel now? And he said, now the pendulum has swung in the complete opposite direction. Those children now have that same level of resentment towards the mother, which is, and I don't wish for that on the mothers, by the way.
Obviously.
And I said afterwards, I said, there's a price to be paid. There's a tax that has to be paid for this behavior to the mothers who are doing this. And that tax must be paid in full. Those chickens will come home to roost. And once those kids grow up and become adults themselves and are able to see the wood from the trees, there's going to be some hard questions coming, and potentially a lifetime of resentment, potentially. And I don't wish that upon the mothers, frankly, because again, this can now perpetuate generational trauma if the kids don't heal themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about all this, AbuAmerican?
How to even start with this, because this is such a deep subject. I know a brother, actually, I put it in a private chat. I don't know how it looks from the phone, but I think I know the brother you're talking about, maybe. It quite possibly may be the brother. He's actually from London, huh?
I don't know where he's from, actually. I don't know him.
Okay, well, there's a brother I know personally. I asked him to come on the show. Same situation. He was alienated from his children until they became adults. They just recently, I think it was like last year or 2 years ago, came back into his life. And yeah, he was actually going to come on the show and talk about it, but he said that no, they must be different people. He said the kids still have like such a strong attachment to the mother that he doesn't want to say anything that may make them upset. Because they're all about oh, mom did everything for us, this, that, the other, whatever, yada yada yada. And so they've got this sort of like personality, for lack of a better term, not in a literal sense, personality worship in regards to their mother, and he's not trying to rock the boat. Now, as for my personal feelings on it, obviously this is completely problematic on all levels, and like you said, especially Islamically. I mean, children need their fathers. Absolutely. We know statistically that if you want to see a child fail in life, if you want to see the highest levels of dysfunctionality, socially, economically, education, in all ways, in relationships, the number one thing you can do is remove the father from the home and have him raised in a single parent household that is led by the mother. Now, this is not an attack on single mothers, but the simple fact of the matter is that statistically speaking, the worst place for a child to grow up is in the home of a single mother. 100% of all school shooters come from a single mother household in the United States.
Wow.
Alexander Breivik, who shot 90-something people in, was it Finland, I think it was?
Yeah, I believe it was Finland,
raised in a single parent household led by the mother in Finland. Still grew up to be a shooter. It is the number one guaranteed way to screw up a child. That's, and single mothers aren't going to like to hear that. They're going to have a problem with that. They're going to get upset. They're going to get angry. I'm the mom and the dad, but no, actually you're not. All you're doing is you're creating a monster to a degree. Now, this doesn't mean that they're going to turn out to be a monster. But there is a statistically higher chance that he will or she will turn out to be, someone with, well, let's call it fatherless behavior, if the father is removed from the house. And it does not, I'm not sure about the statistics when they remarry and a stepfather is present, but then that's also problematic on its own, because the highest number of child molestations that take place are where there's a stepfather in the home with the child that is not his own.
Right. 100 times more likely for that to happen, by the way. 100. It's not a small thing. When I mentioned this statistic, AbuAmerican, I had a sister DM me on Instagram, upset, and say, brother, why are you spreading this type of information? You're scaremongering. You're making women scared to marry again. I said, sister, do you want the truth or not? Like, wake up and smell the coffee, woman. What are you talking about? At least Yani, have this information so that you are at least aware. He's like the dad. No, he's not. I'm sorry. He's not. And he never will be. And that saying, blood is thicker than water, and there's a lot of truth in it, and you have to be aware of that as a responsible mother who's looking to marry again. Potentially, you have children, especially daughters, and you have to be aware of this.
Indeed. So when it comes down to parental alienation, I'm completely against it. I mean, if you're going to have to co-parent, which is still less than ideal, then it is what it is, then do it. But here's the thing that a lot of sisters in specific need to understand. Your child has a father. Just because you don't like that father anymore, just because you don't love him anymore, doesn't mean that child doesn't have a father. If that child's father turns out to be a horrible person, a deadbeat, a bum, a loser, whatever else, the fact of the matter is that's still his father. that was still a choice you made to lay with that man, to marry that man, lay with that man, and have a child with that man. The child has a father. There's no denying this. What you are now living are the consequences of the choices of that relationship,
Mm.
and everybody suffers. So no, it doesn't have to suffer, but the simple fact of the matter is, if that's what's happening, then that's what's happening. Sometimes choices have consequences, and sometimes you just got to go through them, and you got to try and make the best out of those. So sisters, if you get a divorce from a guy, don't try and say, oh, I'm looking for a dad for my kids. Your kids have a dad.
Right.
Unless that man is dead, they have a dad. And even if
Right.
he's dead, they have a dad.
Mm.
Somebody else can't come along and just all of a sudden be a surrogate father. It doesn't work like that.
Mm.
So no matter what, you're going to have to deal with that simple fact. Your children have a father, and you can't, what's the word? What am I looking for? Don't try and pawn off the responsibility of raising that child, financing that child, all these types of things that come with parenting children onto the new man. It's not their job. You're the mother, the child has a father, the financial responsibility are yours. It's not the new guys,
Mm.
It happens, obviously. And brothers, if you get married to single mothers, I advise against it. But if you're going to do it, that's your choice. I'm not out here policing people's marriage options and choices and whatnot, but understand that don't let yourself get pushed into certain roles that aren't yours. You are not the father. It is not your job unless you see something happening real time to inculcate your ethics, virtues, values, and morals on them. Islamic in general, yes, that's the mother's job. That's the father's job. That's why co-parenting is important. Those children, when they go visit the father teaches the children to be the children that he wants them to be. Yeah, I got a lot to say about it, bro. I can go on for an hour.
I mean, you see, you mentioned that Andres Breivik, that mass shooter, and also all the other school shootings that have happened in America. I didn't know they all came from single mother households. And when women hear this, particularly single moms, they take this very personally. What you're trying to say, we're incompetent. No, we're not saying that at all. And I know there's a lot of single mothers out there who are doing their best, and we don't deny this. And perhaps even they were genuinely in a relationship where a man oppressed them. We make space for you sisters who have been through that. Yani, I am not saying all single mothers who have been through a divorce are some type of evil criminal people who deserve the worst. No, I'm just simply, I make room and space for those sisters who have genuinely been oppressed. The problem is, most of you who are listening to this who fit that description think you were oppressed. And herein is the problem. Less than 1 in 5 women will experience some type of domestic abuse, domestic violence. And from those 1 in 5, I have a very difficult question to ask you, sisters, which offends most of them. And gentlemen, if you are considering marrying a woman who claims she's been domestic violence and so on, if you want to find out what type of mentality she has towards self-accountability, ask this one question and see how she reacts. And this is a very tough question for most women. And that question is, what did you do that contributed towards that situation of domestic violence coming about? I'm not saying there's an excuse for a man to hit his woman and beat her and so on. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is cause, effect, action, reaction. Unless you married some type of psychopath and he just lashes out left and right, which is highly unlikely, what's most probable is that you had a long tongue, you lashed him with your tongue, and then he responded with how he knows best, which is with his body. I'm not justifying it. There is no justification, but you have to ask yourself, ladies, because most men don't have some type of tendency to want to hit his woman. You see, and Ibn Qayyim said, the woman with the long tongue has the shortest marriage. Ask yourself that question, sister. What did you do? And if that's a problematic question for you, then, and to the brothers who are listening, if a sister you are considering says she's been through that and you ask her this question and she gets super defensive, that's an indication to you that she doesn't take any responsibility. And it's highly, highly unlikely she was married to some type of, Jack the Ripper type character who just goes around, enacting all sorts of chaos and mayhem for no apparent reason. Very unlikely. That's the first thing. The second thing is, and going back to Andrus Breivik, is that you mentioned that these high school shooters, they've come from single mother homes. Do you know why children who have been raised in single mother homes, AbuAmerican, particularly boys, have a greater proclivity towards violence? Do you know why that is?
You know what?
You've muted yourself, Akhi.
Huh? Sorry?
Oh, there's something's gone on with your mic.
Oh, maybe I'm. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Oof. No. Yeah, we can hear you, but it's like mad loud.
I altered the gain. Is that better? I changed the gain on accident.
A bit down, bit more down.
We good?
That's better. That's a bit better, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I actually, when I was pulling it forward, I hit the gain, and the gain went on full. So I can only assume. I'm sure there's research on this, but I haven't seen it. But I can only assume from what I've seen from boys who are raised with single mothers. I've seen this, with some of the women that I've tried to marry, is that they don't learn emotional control and stoicism like they learn from a man. As a man, our number one go-to emotion is anger. In general, it's anger, right? We can process almost everything into anger. We can process fear into anger, hurt into anger. Dudes manage to turn love into anger. We can process anger very easily as men. So if you don't learn how to control that, because you don't have an example of that, just imagine the range of emotions that women go through daily. And now a boy is living with only a woman who goes through her range of emotions daily. How is he going to process the emotions? He's not going to process them in the same way as a woman, obviously. Women are raising children like they're blank slates, and they're not. Boys have a certain way that they need to be raised. Girls have a certain way that they need to be raised. And when a boy's not raised with men, he doesn't learn how to act, because men set boundaries, men set limits, because we have a hierarchical society amongst ourselves. Amongst men, we set hierarchies amongst ourselves, whether we do it by force or whether we do it by intellect, finances, or all of the above. We do set hierarchies amongst one another. That's where children start to learn authority figures, whatever else. Women tend to be more concerned with egalitarianism, equalism, fairness, these types of things. And we as men, we don't really believe that the world is fair, because we live in the world in a different way than women. And so when women are trying to raise these blank slate children who believe in fairness and equity, especially boys, and then they go out into the world and it's nothing like that, what's he going to do? He's going to deal with that in anger. Because the world is nothing like how he was raised at home. And how else can he process that? He has no way to understand. I never teach my kids the world is fair. The world is completely unfair. And then you got to take advantage where you have an unfair advantage. You have to use that brutally. So,
I want to pull Marlon in.
Give me 1 second.
Yes.
Yeah, he's still there. Give me 1 second. If you're looking for those statistics on where all the school shooters come from, it's the same author of the book with the boy crisis, William Farrell.
Right.
Will Ferrell.
Warren
Farrell, yeah. He talks about that in there. So, yeah, I think it's just because women don't know how to raise boys, because boys are different than girls, and they're trying to raise boys in the same way that they were raised a girl. Like I said, blank slate, just raising children. Because how we raise boys and girls, whether we like it or not, we're going to raise boys and girls different. There's going to come a point where we're going to say, you're not a kid anymore. You can't go out like that. That's what we're going to say to our girls sometimes. And then boys, although Islamically within the Islamic range, we can let them continue to live in the way that they grew up, because generally, there's not that where they hit the age of maturity and there's changes in their bodies to where it's like, he needs to start dressing differently. And so we understand intrinsically as men that boys and girls are automatically raised differently. We give the girls different advice than boys. Do women really do that? Not really.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, and to build on that, and I do want to bring Marlon in as well. I want to hear his point of view. To build on that, from that same book you just mentioned, the boy crisis, Warren Farrell makes a very interesting case, and that is that children, particularly boys, who are raised just with their mothers, are ironically more aggressive than children, or boys specifically, raised by their fathers or in nuclear homes. And that's a very interesting paradox if you consider that typically you would associate aggression with a man, right? But here's the science. Listen, check this out, AbuAmerican. So what he said was that women by their nature are more empathetic, right? It's the reason why she's able to be woken up 10 times in a night in a single hour by the baby and not throw the baby out the window, as Jordan Peterson put it. She needs that empathy, and we need our women to have that empathy. The problem is when the kids grow a bit older, and then that empathy is not checked to the point where now the children are able to get away with things they shouldn't be allowed to get away with. And children, particularly boys who are not put in check for bad behavior, end up becoming wilding out of control, out of control. Whereas with a man, what's a man's role, a father's role? Is to police his children before the police do. A father's role is to police his kids, especially the boys, and put them in check before the police do. A woman doesn't have that type of authority over a man. I see it with my own children, AbuAmerican. Like, my wife can call my son over and over and over, and he's just like, just doesn't listen. And then I'll call him once, and he will respond immediately. Maybe it's something to do with, the decibels in my voice. It's a slightly deeper voice. There's a bit more authority in it. His mum's voice is a bit more musical, can't take it as seriously. Whatever the case is, he listens. And it's very difficult for a woman to impose that type of authority on her children in the same way a man does.
Indeed.
Hence why these children raised just by mothers, particularly boys, they tend to be more aggressive. And as you said, I didn't even know that all of those high school shooters came from single mother homes. It's not an attack on single moms. It's an observation of the facts. We're just passing on the message here.
No, it's just, it's just something they can't deal with. I'm going to deal with Ben's question here in a second, but I also want to just talk about something in terms of like the voice. I have this here in my house. I have my son. My wife talks to him. He doesn't listen. I'll say the same exact thing in the exact same words, and he'll listen to me. So also tonation, it makes a big difference. And those who are in my membership channel, although I haven't updated recently, guys, I apologize. I've been very busy. There's that video in there about the alpha voice. And so if you're in the membership section of my YouTube channel, look up that video about the alpha voice and look at the difference. It is a real thing. They talk about like two types of voices and two ways and the two tonations and how people are more obedient to a deeper, toner, louder voice.
Right.
And so what do you think? Children are going to be different? Absolutely. I don't have to hit my kids. I just got to say things in a certain way. And that's it. It's like, whoa, everybody's like, they know what's up. So women don't have that in general. This is why you see a lot of times that, women really get like, they start screaming, they get louder and louder, higher and higher pitch, but then the kid doesn't really take them seriously, yeah.
100.
Ben asked something here that I thought was, a quality question related to the topic. Do you think women from single households and women from absent father households have the same way about things, the same trauma?
Do you think women from single households and women from absent father households think the same way about things? Meaning what, Akhi, exactly?
Well, I think the question's kind of worded funny. What I think she's asking, is there the same type of trauma from a single father household and a single mother household? This is what I'm understanding.
Okay. So you can find all of this information in that brilliant book by Dr. Warren Farrell, The Boy Crisis.
Yes.
And children, okay, if you were to compare the two different, that's the word demographic. I don't know if the word is demographic, but the two different type of households, single father to single mother, children do better on every single metric that whom are raised in single father households in comparison to single mother households. Now, that's not to look down upon single mothers. Like I said before, you're doing your best, and so long as you are facilitating contact between the father, more power to you. But this is just a matter of fact. If you had to choose, if you had to choose between the two, yes, children do better on all metrics, everything, education, mental, cognitive ability, everything. Children do better in single father households than single mother, but children do best in the nuclear home where mom and dad are together. We are better together than we are apart. This is a fact. Children raised with mom and dad together do the best. They do the best. But if you had to choose between the two, yes, single father. Why? And again, to quote Dr. Warren Farrell, it's very fascinating the way he put it. He said, mothers generally tend to be more empathetic than fathers. But the problem is, because they are constantly thinking about the feelings of their child, they end up raising a child who also constantly thinks about his own feelings. You see the paradox? So that empathy creates almost, you could say, narcissistic qualities in the child.
Absolutely.
If there's too much empathy without checking that behavior, you can create a narcissistic child, and you have to check that. And the one to check that is typically the father, the bad guy, dad villain. One of my friends says his name is Dad Villain, and he's the villain in the household. But someone's got to do the job, you know.
Someone's got to be the bad guy.
Right, someone's got to be the bad guy. Coach
Assalamu
Kareem. Wa alaikum
Alaikum
assalam.
salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you guys? All is good?
Alhamdulillah. كيف حالك؟
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Still talking about single mother?
Well,
Yeah, well, we were talking about parental alienation, but in the West, this mostly happens at the hands of the mothers. It's rare to find that men alienate their children from their mothers. This is actually statistically like unheard of.
Around 40% of the newborn babies in the North America, in North America, around 40% is of the newborn babies is in single mother household. 40%.
wow, that's nearly half the population.
Yes.
That's insane.
You know that like 75% of the prisoner under 18 is raised in single mother household.
Wow. Prisoners,
75%. Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating. That goes back to what we were saying earlier, that the irony that boys raised in single mother homes tend to have express higher levels of unchecked aggression than those raised with a father. Why? Because when a father sees his kid acting out, what happens? He does what he needs to do. Even if that means he needs to slap him up. Sometimes a good slap is required to fix that child, to put that child back in check again. I can say for sure, like, my dad had to put me in check when I was growing up. Most kids can relate to this, not unheard of, you know? Sometimes the kid needs to be put in place. A good ass whooping, like Kevin Samuels would say.
Father keeps girls out of teenage pregnancy and keeps sons out of jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Indeed.
And again, to make space for I know the women hear this and they think, oh, look at these angry men. You know, they're hating on us again. They don't know the struggles we're going through. No, we make space for you. So I know you are doing your best, especially particularly those who are raising children on their own. Maybe you're a widow, or maybe you are a single mom. You had a bad divorce. So long as you are doing your best, if you're not a widow, to maintain contact with the father and the children, I salute you. More power to you. You know, more power to you. But if you are going out of your way to break that contact between child and father, those chickens will come home to roost, and there will be a price to be paid. And Coach Kareem mentioned on my stream yesterday that the father doesn't have to, from the Sharia, doesn't have to abide by strict timings as to when he sees his children. Coach Kareem, I'd like to elaborate on that, please. But you mentioned yesterday that the father can see his children when he pleases, when he wishes. Can you build on that, please, Coach Kareem?
Yeah, definitely. I got back to many scholars, and I was doing my research in the last around year, because that's very controversial issue among especially feminist Muslim. The custody is with the mother in Islam. Yes, that's right. To certain age, and during that period, you have no exclusive accessibility to the child, and their father doesn't need permission to see them. So in all madahib, there is we mentioned that the only difference is in the age. Like some of them says 7 year for the male, 9 year for the female. Some of them says until 12, until 15, until they hit puberty. So the only difference is in the age until when. So, but all of them, the four madhahib, even madhab al-Imam al-Zahiri, which is not applied in any Muslim country, he also agree that there is no certain timing for the father to see the children. All of them says during, even for young children, even during the day, he can take them out of home, with him, for example, to work, to take them to play, to buy them things, to take them to his family, to their grandmother, grandfather, and the rest of family during the day, and he will get them back to the mother in the evening. That's when they're young. So there's no single Muslim country apply this in whole world. They all give you specific timing and specific hour and specific days.
Right.
You're not allowed to see your children during the day, the weekdays, for example. You're
Right.
only allowed for example, 3 hour, 6 hour, 8 hour in one day, which is in the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see, subhanAllah, this brings back a flood of memories for me. But a lot of women will hear this and be like, "Oh, but that's not fair." Listen, sister. Look, we're reporting the facts for you. Okay. After that's between you and Allah how you want to go about executing upon that. It's between you and Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. But these are the facts. And again, to be fair, to offer a voice on the other side to the brothers who maybe are divorced and their ex-wives are trying to uphold his rights. I say to those brothers as well, be conscientious of the things. Maybe she has a plan for the children. Don't intentionally go to try and spoil her plans and then say, "This is my right." You see, this is where hikmah comes in now. Yes, you have many rights, of course. This is your right. But the way that you can make the relationship work is by also considering, okay, you had a plan for the day, fine. You do your plan. I want to pick them up tomorrow. Is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. And when you can maintain this type of... Okay, the ulama say, for example, with regards to... I remember listening to one scholar talking about the rights of the parents over the child. And he mentioned to parents, he said, "To you parents, I say to you, be careful of overburdening your child with requests and orders and things you want the child to do for you." Why? He said, because the more things you ask your child to do for you, the more opportunities you give him to disobey you. And if he disobeys you, the anger of Allah will be upon him. So be light and easy in what you ask your child to do for you, because the more you ask, the more opportunity you give him to disobey you. And then he said to the children, "Kids, do your best to honor your parents and to obey them and respect them and to fulfill their wishes. And if both parties can bear this in mind, this is where we have that good equilibrium. The parents being merciful to the children and the children doing their best to uphold the rights of the parents." You see? So that happy medium. Does that make sense?
Indeed,
Yeah, it does. Let me break down one of the feminist Muslim like shubha, which is when I always since many years when I always mention that that the father is so fundamental, the father present is so fundamental requirement for the mental health and the intellectual development of the child. They always grab that those exceptions, and they don't know even how to read the case about Imam Ahmad was raised without his father, Ibn Taymiyyah was raised without his father, and Imam Shafi'i was raised without his father. No, some of them, they lost their father when they was young, like their father died. But I get back, and for example, Muhammad al-Fatih, which is he got the Constantinople. Muhammad al-Fatih, he destroyed the last of Byzantine Empire wall. He took them down. He was a great warrior. And some of them really idiotically says that his mother taught him how to be a great a military leader. I said, no, that's bullshit. No, she didn't. He was getting trained by the Seljuqi army since the beginning of since he was 5 to 6 years old. He was memorizing Quran with shuyukh, male shuyukh, and he was hanging out with males, with masculine figures, all of his childhood, and then he enrolled in the army. He learned the military tactics, and he did that. And I got back to all what they mentioned, case by case. I read the history of their childhood. A lot of them, or almost all of them, what their mother was doing was pushing him to go out to his uncles, to his grandfather, to his ulama shuyukh, which is like Ibn Taymiyyah, Imam Ahmad, Shafi'i. They was pushing him out. Do not be with me in the home. They was pushing him out since he was 5 or 6 to start memorizing Quran, studying hadith and hanging out with men. He was Like he used to come to come at home like in the evening for food and for like take care of the rest of things that he need.
Mm,
But usually he's surrounded by a lot of masculine figures,
right.
even if the father was there. But you know what? Like the women's in that era, they understood this. The modern day woman, they do not. I'm enough. I can
Yeah.
do
Subhanallah.
both.
This
Yeah.
is so
I
true.
can do both. I can be a man and woman
Right.
at the same time.
Yes.
The women
Yes.
of that era in the Islamic history, they understood this. Since he was 5 years old, they will push him out, go
Mm,
to masjid, sit with ulama, hang out with male friends,
mm,
go out, learn how to fight, learn the
Absolutely.
military tactics, how to do jihad, how to fight with sword. Just hang out with men.
mm,
And
Yeah.
when his sheikh die, he will just shift to another sheikh.
mm,
And
mm,
when the second die, he will shift to another sheikh. So all of his childhood was hanging out with masculine figures,
mm,
not raising in a feminine environment in his home.
mm. Yeah, this is one of the biggest lies that women have been told, that you can be mum and dad and you are enough.
Um,
That's just as ludicrous as a man saying, "I can be the mother to my daughter." The
correct.
pendulum swings both ways. It's
Yeah.
absolutely ludicrous. In fact, you
It's
tend to
insane.
find girls who are raised around guys, like just guys. We have a word for them. We call them tomboys.
Yeah.
Girls also need to be raised. They spend a lot of time with their mother to learn those feminine etiquettes. You know, how to be soft, pleasant, accommodating, all of those feminine attributes that men typically are not strong in, nor should we be. You see, and this is why we complement one another. And this point has been leveled to me as well, Coach Kareem. Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi'i. There's a lot of them actually that were raised by single mothers, and my response is exactly what you said, which was yes. Are they all? They were all a'imma, right? Big shuyukh. Okay. How did they become shuyukh? Please tell me. By staying at
Exactly.
home all day long? No, by spending time with the scholars all day long. And then coming home late at evening. Meaning what? Exactly as you just said. That they were being raised and cultivated by men during the daytime. And then they come back in the evening and spend time with their mothers. But much of their waking hours, most of their waking hours, was in the presence of men. And particularly for boys, iron sharpens iron.
You're
For a
perfect.
young
Yes.
man, to become a sharp iron, he needs
Yeah.
to spend time with other sharp irons, with other sharks. I'm
Correct.
sorry to the ladies. I unapologetically tell you, you absolutely, emphatically cannot raise a boy to become a man any more
Exactly.
than a man can show his daughter how to be a woman. No, each to their own. We each have our qualities. I'm going to take care of this, you take care of that. And that's why we are better together than we are apart. But don't sell yourself on this lie that, oh, I can teach my boy to become a man. Nonsense. That's a
Nonsense.
big lie. Big lie.
Let me jump in here for a quick point.
Sure.
Um, Many of you may or may not know I'm a little bit older than you guys. I'm actually even older than AbuAmerican there. But
MashaAllah.
I
That's
always
crazy. Whoa,
You
that's
got a young
possible.
voice, Akhi, Allah Mubarak.
but I always try to offer a little bit of a perspective on things. And I think Coach Kareem made a great point. He said, look, women are not offering their boys up to other boys or other men to help them raise them. That's absolutely spot on. Um, they I think they have fallen into the mentality of, hey, I'm a woman, I can do all things and I can raise a boy too. That's not true. And then the other point is, yeah, I think the advent of the internet, right, has caused these boys that are now under single mothers to not only become secluded, right, and basically in a room with the internet, and are actually victims to their own mother's emotive or emotion, roller coaster. So basically, women are emoting on them
Mm.
as if they are pseudo husbands. And then the
Oof.
third point I wanted to
Wow.
make is,
That's
um,
deep.
boys now in general are not enrolling themselves in sports. That was another avenue by which, like Marty said, iron sharpens iron. Right? You have to expose yourself to combat, to uh, uh, anything that you have to compete, et
Mm.
cetera, et cetera. So all these factors are playing a role in this. And so I guess my point, what I'm trying to say is, there's not just one single factor. Yes, a lot of it has to do with the woman, but in general, there's all these other things that are playing a role in today's single parent households.
You know, first off, Yusuf, homie, always supporting the channel. Barakallahu Feek, $10 super chat. Two things. Mahdi, you said something that's very interesting about like let's just call it surrogacy and fathership. I have actually a video from a TikTok where these women, it was one of these modern arrangements with two mothers. I'm trying to, not catch the YouTube robot to put the smackdown on me. But it was one of these modern arrangements with two mothers and no father. And they took the child to a pizza place, and it was a boy, and he was just over the moon that he got to play with a boy and his father. And the guy just sort of took him in like he was his own,
Wow.
And she was like saying thank you to this guy, and they were showing the guy playing with their son, like he was one of his kids, and how much the kid was enjoying. He said he was just, we've never seen him like this. They were like, it's just amazing. You can find this on my channel. Secondly, something that Marlon was talking about with incest. I have a video. It's at least 6 years old. And I talk about how single mothers actually with their sons tend to commit emotional incest.
Woof.
They are making their sons the man in their life. And that's kind of like, ew.
Wow.
So yeah, look up those videos. They're both still active. They're both still live, so yeah, they're there.
Wow.
But let's talk about something else. I want to talk about something, if you guys don't mind. Equity Justice has actually been commenting about like a situation here in Germany. And this is something we have to look at also with single parent households that are led by mothers. And we're not attacking sisters. This isn't a show just coming out on sisters or whatever else, or single mothers, but it is a phenomenon of our time. It is something that we're seeing. We have never seen this many single mothers outside of a wartime situation, which those actually are not even single mothers. They're widows. We've never seen this. It's unprecedented in human history.
Unprecedented.
That so many women are raising children on their own outside of a wartime situation.
Correct.
It's just unheard of. So I think, and Equity Justice brings something to light. $5 super chat from Suleiman Superbike. May Allah grant you goodness. May Allah grant all y'all goodness. Also, Ameen Barakallahu Feek. Is that these women are under extreme stress also, raising these children, raising these boys. I think it puts them under extreme stress. And like you said earlier, Mahdi, they do it for a sense of revenge. Now, he dropped, let me go ahead and share the screen. Share screen, sorry. He brings up a story where a woman in Germany, where I am, it says, Germany, mother given life sentence for killing 5 of her children. A life sentence in Germany is unheard of. You can do the most heinous crimes. You can kill 2-3 people. You can rape people. You can do all sorts of stuff here. And they are very, lenient in their sentencing. Sorry, give me 1 second. Channel manager, my wife, where I said the R word, please bleep that out later on in editing. YouTube will give me a hard time about that. The crime occurred in Western German city of Solingen. That's actually, Solingen. Okay, yeah, it says it all right there. The 28-year-old allegedly sedated and suffocated her children after seeing a photo of her husband with a new partner. Now, this goes directly into what you were saying earlier, Mahdi, where women are trying to punish the man for being separated from her.
This is like the ultimate, though. Yani. What is this sickness?
We had that incident in Iraq, in Baghdad, actually 1 year ago. A woman threw 3 of her children, all of her children, 3. She threw them in the Furat River in Baghdad.
Wow.
She threw the 3 children in the river to revenge from their father. It's her own blood. 3.
You can't find words for this, Yani.
No, you really can't.
Because she has to hurt herself at the same time. This is Yani. This is like cognitive dissonance, gold level, platinum level cognitive dissonance. She has to cause equal amounts of pain to herself because it's her child as well. Yeah. But it seems justified if it causes him that pain as well. It's just next level.
I'm not going to go deep into that article, but I think it was relevant. I think what we're seeing here is a lesser degree, a less severity of this parental alienation thing taking place when these women get separated from their partners. They're trying to harm their partner, by separating children. And what they end up doing is, just like in this case, but in a more extreme way, they end up hurting the children. They hurt the partner also, the ex-partner, but they also hurt the children. So sisters, pay attention to what you're doing if you're in this situation. And if you're like withholding your children from their co-parent, from their father. Let's be more precise and use precise language. This lady killed her children. You're killing a piece of them, but they're still alive. They need their fathers, absolutely. Even if you don't need him anymore, even if you don't want him, even if you don't love him, that doesn't mean that you now get to decide that they don't have a father.
I mean, yesterday I was talking. I told you, Mahdi, I did a live stream with one of our brothers here in Kuwait about the crime of Salmiya, the woman who killed her daughter and buried her and kept her in the bathroom like for 5 years until they got it as a skeleton. One of the women, like from Gulf area, was like wrote a big comment on that, because I mentioned how necessary the father present in the video, in the child's in the childhood of both gender. So she said, no, you're wrong, because I'm a divorcee and I raised a lot of children, and they are all good right now. And I raised like a female. She was talking about her daughter, a lawyer and doctor and PhD holder and blah blah blah. I said, no, your standard is totally different for the scientific standard of mental health, and you just raised a bunch of strong, independent women. That does not mean they are good. That does not mean. She wants to prove that, like, without their father, with the elimination of the father totally, like everything gonna be okay. Like my daughters, who's doctor and lawyer and blah blah blah, strong, independent, like crap.
And what's ironic is that you'll notice women say, I can see, they'll, on the one hand, they'll dismiss the importance of the father, but then on the other hand, they'll say, I am the mother and the father. And it's just some weird case of penis envy, frankly, and it's to call it what it is. How, on the one hand, do you dismiss the importance of the father, but then on the other hand, you say, I'm the father, I'm the mother and the father. Just say you're the mother and that's
dissonance.
it. Right. That's, and it reminds me of what Roller says, like, women have this incredible ability to hold two conflicting ideas, but with great ease. With great ease. You know?
Okay, Ben keeps asking me this. AbuAmerican, do you see yourself? I'm going to go ahead and jump to questions because we're like, we're up on an hour already. That went really fast, actually. Do you see yourself creating something like your men's coaching book, but for women, in terms of how to create a harmonious marriage from a man himself that are subjective to you? Listen, Ben, actually, I thought about this, and let me explain this to you in a way that I made in a video quite some time. You can still find this on YouTube. I have no objective experience being a woman living in a relationship with a man, because our relationship dynamics are so different, but they mesh together and meld together. It's sort of like, in a non-tricky way, the yin and the yang. It goes together so perfectly. It's almost impossible for me to understand the female dynamic and mentality when looking at men. I say it all the time. I'm in a community of non-Muslims. There's a men's community of non-Muslims, and it's run by MLD John. I'm not saying go watch material or whatever else, but he's quote unquote a friend of mine. And we were talking about this, how women are so dynamically and so significantly different than us in a relationship, and what they find attractive, what they find sexy, what they find this, what they find that. Everything is completely different. And we were talking about, like, to us, it looks like absolute madness. It's like, stuff that we're just like, why would she do that? Like, we understand, and we understand also by looking in other relationships, we understand that women are in love with the man they do things for, but they don't like men that do stuff for them. That's her game. She likes doing stuff for you. She likes serving you. She likes doing this. In my case, she likes tying my shoes. A woman who loves you loves to do things for you. And it doesn't work reverse. We don't understand it as men. For us, our service is, taking out the trash, bringing home bills, bringing home the halal turkey bacon. That's our thing that we do. We actually come home. When we start doing overtime that's not necessary, then we don't like you, because we don't want to be around you. And this is why I tell women it's more important for your man to like you than to love you. So, because he can love you, but if he don't like you, he doesn't want to be with you. And what do you want more than anything else? His time and his attention, when it's high quality and high quality difference. So I would like to create a product for women, but I don't know the foundation of where to start because I've never been a woman. I've never been a woman in a relationship with a man, and I've never been a man in a relationship with a man. I mean, Allah protect me from ever becoming like that. I'll give you guys some of my weaponry, and you take me out back like one of the gimp-legged horses, and give me a cap in the back of the head if it ever happens. Second problem is I seem to rub sisters the wrong way because when I drop information, it's dropped in a way like I speak for men. And I don't think about how the words make a woman feel. I'm concerned with the facts. This is how this is, and this is the end result. And a lot of times women deal with information and words. A lot of times it's just how they are in general. It's a generalization, not all of them, obviously. They deal with how words make them feel. And when it comes down to like information like this, it's almost impossible for me to look at, how things are making you feel. So I don't think it's possible for me to do it. My wife has spoken about doing it, and but we're just looking at how to do it. She's thinking about starting a community or whatnot. But we got so many weirdos out there that would try act like the women and try and get in so they could be around a bunch of sisters and whatnot. So he's disconnected. I wanted to re-add him. His thing is disconnected.
AbuAmerican.
Yeah.
Regarding this question from the brother Kimra, like my wife only rarely want to have sex with me. So I believe, like from your experience, getting a competitor will elevate things, will escalate the sexual attraction and availability, right?
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to just hog up the show here real quick, but yeah, you have two options here. Actually, a couple of options. If you decide to take another wife, I don't know if that's an option. It's on your plate. If you take a wife, it could save the relationship or it could completely wreck it. Now you don't know which it could be. What happens here is if you take another wife and your wife is actually in love with you, then what it'll do is it'll increase your competition anxiety, and then she's going to want to be the top queen. And what's going to happen? She's going to compete with the other women, and so every time, this is why I tell guys, if you're going to get multiple wives, you need to be fit. Because if you get two women that are really attracted to you, they're going to compete with one another. When she knows you're going to your other wife, guess what you're going to do? You're going to do the hot, sweaty rabbit dance. And then when you show up, what you're going to do? You're going to do the hot, sweaty rabbit dance. And then when you leave again, it's a cycle. So add another wife in there, 3 wives. And you can come in there, with a BMI like 60 points over normal. Really? You think you're going to be handling business and keep those women? You're not. So be fit. But in your case, where she's already disconnected sexually, physically, that means there's already something broken to the point that if you marry another wife, I'm almost 100% positive it's going to wreck your relationship because she doesn't care. She doesn't care about your satisfaction. She doesn't care about your physical needs. She knows you need it and she withholds it. That means at some point, somewhere, something happened and now she feels unattracted to you. So she no longer feels the need to give you her personally in order to receive what she wants. Because you see, whether people like to hear it or not, whether women like to hear it or not, our relationships, they are transactional. We get physical access, they get our time and attention and resources. But now what's happening? She's your wife, she's getting your resources, you're there, you're trying to do the hot sweaty rabbit dance with her. So that means you're probably trying to be all schmoozy. She's getting everything she's wanting, you're getting nothing that you want. So now this is just a one-way transaction. So obviously she doesn't respect you enough. And so obviously if you go get another wife, guess what's going to happen? That respect's still not going to come back. It's not going to come back. That's already gone. It's not going to come back like, oh, he's got another woman. I need to compete now. No, she's going to be like, what is this guy think he's doing? So your relationship's going to take a serious hit. So you need to look at whatever's going on. We need a lot more information. If you want to book a one-to-one consultation, I can, we can go over, because when I do one-to-one consultations, we break down all the information. I go over everything. Does your wife have a degree? How old are you? How old is she? Do you have a degree? Does she work? Does she not work? We have to go through all that information first to get a general picture of the power dynamic in the relationship. And believe it or not, these things make a difference. All of these things make a difference. And then we can walk through it and see what's going on there. But like this on a live, it'd be kind of like.
Can I add real quick for that?
Yeah.
There is okay. The best
gentlemen,
strategy
forgive me, gentlemen. My battery's about to die, and I don't want to leave with it just cutting out like that.
Okay.
AbuAmerican, Coach Kareem, it's been a pleasure as always. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
One of my best favorite strategy that I advise my client, like especially men, which is the punishment reward strategy, because it is real very efficient strategy to adjust the human behavior for behavior adjustment treatment, the punishment and the reward. So if you're doing everything possible from your side and she's not doing everything possible from her side and you're not satisfied, try to start to withdraw the benefits one by one, so she will notice that you're not satisfied. And I mean, like, the material benefits, the validation, the energy, the time benefits, all of that is very important to the woman. So and advise her that you need this and that, and try to uh, to keep her in line toward the most benefit. So if she start to change to doing like a good things that you want, try to reward her step, like one by one. If she keep doing it, like, try to be better and better with her. If she deviate like toward very negative things, like, try to withdraw all the benefits and the privileges. So that's very efficient like strategy to deal with women.
Coach Creole,
We
I'll let you answer this one right here. What's your opinion on black pill?
um, they are bunch of losers with some knowledge, bunch of doomers with some knowledge. Like, they're miserable creatures, really.
Yeah.
They are very miserable creatures, and a lot of them, like, the fundamental structure of their belief is based on Darwinianism and atheism. So that's because everything is inevitable. If I don't have like these metrics and these standards, that I'm gonna be loser for the rest of my life, with women, with work, with everything, because I'm not like 6 foot two. I'm not. I don't have wide jaw. I don't have like these
Yeah.
specific, like, by millimeter metrics.
Attributes. Yeah.
So I can't change this. So if you can't change this, so you're loser anyway. Well, like, it doesn't worth a try. They're bunch of losers, actually, bunch of doomers.
I agree. I talked about this on my last live. That's why I wanted you to answer it. I talked about this already. So it's just, yeah. Yeah, Yusuf says it here too. Black pill mindset are people giving up losers. They're stuck in that anger state. They are a bunch of nihilistic, and it seems like angry people. Kimra the Orion, um, you know, your situation is not a simple one. It can't be handled on a live, unfortunately. I suggest booking a one-to-one consultation. That's not me just trying to show, a premium service, but really we can't do this on a live. There's too much information that's needed, and there are solutions, there are options, there's a routes and tests that you have to do. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to tell it to you right now how it is. You have to be ready. If this is that important to you, physical access to your wife, you have to be ready to walk away from the relationship and start a new one, and come to some sort of agreement with your children, in terms of how you two are going to co-parent. Because to me personally, as AbuAmerican, I'm not doing that. I mean, I'm not going to be married to a woman and not have access to her. That's just,
yeah.
it's
So
not her right. Islamically, it is not her right to deny you.
spot
You
on.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can only agree. It's look, sex is important to a man, and if that is the one thing that is being denied to you, you deserve better, regardless of uh, the time you've been married or whatever. That is your need. So if it's being denied to you, you got to reconsider things.
I'm not understanding. Okay, let me try and read this here. What is your opinion on raising by our women? What is he saying here?
That
What are,
woman
in your
woman who
opinion?
doesn't mind her child to be a rainbow.
Okay. He's just trying to spell it so that the YouTube algorithm thing doesn't block his comment. What's your opinion of raising rainbow children by our women? What are, in your opinion, the core of these increasing numbers? It's socialization. I'm listening to an audiobook right now. It's called The Red Queen. And I was talking about this on my last live, which was, I believe, yesterday. I just did a random live. And I talked about this to where how a biological nature can actually be socialized and changed.
Hmm.
Okay. Generally, what we find happening is a biological nature, as Allah's created us as creatures, it affects our socialization. So when we're hungry, we want to eat food, right? Our socialization, I don't know, this is probably a bad example, but now we have refrigerators, stores, whatever else, we don't have to go hunting. Socialization in terms of reproduction, we can't reproduce, so we learn game, we make more money, we get more power so that we can reproduce. There is a social expression to a biological need. We have just found out recently through sciences that this can be done reverse also. You can actually change the biological nature of people by socialization. And this is probably why we see such a hard societal push for certain ideas and concepts to be accepted as mainstream, because it is causing and this is why we see this happening early and earlier and earlier. We're seeing this happening in schools where back in the days when I remember we were reading books that had a meaning and a purpose, like Animal Farm, to protect the democratic, ideas and principles of the West from the communist Russians. So we read Animal Farm in my school. Now they've got the prince has two kings, the prince has two king fathers or some stuff,
It's all an effort. It's all in an effort to normalize the unnormal.
So I don't think it's a simple matter of single mothers or anything like this. I think that might also help because they tend to be a little bit more flexible in these matters in general. But I don't think that's the core of it. I think we see something greater going on here on a societal whole, and they're trying to alter the biological nature of man. If you want to go into conspiracies about population control, eugenics, and all this type of stuff, you can have that whole conversation, but I'm not willing to have it on this particular show.
Can I answer? There's one of the comments, which is Layla Alumi. She said, as a woman, because I need to comment on this. As a woman, I can say sex is just important to us. If she doesn't want if she doesn't want it, a big problem. She's not attracted to you. Not necessarily. Because first of all, sex is not important for female as male, and you will never understand that. By the way, I'm talking to women since 10 years. They will never understand the male sexual desire. Never ever, and they will never understand it, because we have sexual desire 2 to 3 times more for average man than average woman. 2 to 3 times more for average man than average woman. So for female to tell me, I totally understand the male sexual desire. No, you don't, and you will never do.
Nope.
You don't. Second part, if she doesn't want you, it's a big problem. She's not attracted to you. It is not necessary. There's a lot of problems that can lead to decrease the sexual desire in women. She might have psychological blockage. She might have some sexual function disorder. She might have desensitization. She might have a lot of things.
Stress.
So, but stress is not is not permanent.
Right.
Stress can be in 1 week, but the other week. But if that consistent reaction or status, she might have a problem. She need to check. There's a lot of reasons. It's not the only reason that she doesn't want him.
I'm gonna mostly agree with that comment though. A lot of times, you see, one thing that I've noticed, and this comes from my days of Jahiliyyah, not always being a Muslim, is that when a woman wants you, dude, she will do the craziest things in the most awkward positions and situations in order to just secure your affections. I can't tell y'all stories, but I'm just telling you, I've seen and experienced things where it's just like, okay, wow, she really, 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 really wanted you. And so when a woman is truly attracted to you, she will literally it's the whole thing. She'll break rules for alphas, make rules for betas. It's that type of dynamic. When she's really attracted to you, she'll suffer. She'll make sure she suffers. Anybody who's married a virgin who's truly into them, then you understand the pain that a woman goes through in order for her to be with you. You see what I mean? So it's I agree and I disagree. There are obviously, physiological issues that can happen and take place.
Yeah, let me add a little different perspective here too. Is most of a woman's sexual desire is an emotional one. So don't want to make that comment controversial by that person's question, but you also need to look at if she's getting attention somewhere else, or she's has a side piece, I guess, for the lack of a better word. So you got to look at those areas as well, and if she's not being stimulated emotionally, she's not going to be readily available to give it up either. So
yeah. There's a lot of play. Female attraction and sexuality is far different from that of men. It's very different. So you have to learn what excites women, and you have to play on that. Ben says, AbuAmerican, you said that you think socio behavioral changes can change these chicks' biology. No. First off, you can find this. It's in a book called The Red Queen, and they talk about how socialization. So basically, ideas and concepts from society, let's take feminism for an example, can actually change the biological nature of people. Why are there women nowadays talking about they don't want children? Does that make sense to you? Two things from a biological, we're just going to go from a straight biological level. Two things a female is made for: survival and reproduction, right? Males, survival, reproduction, and provisioning and protection of his offspring, right? Why? How would a woman ever come to the concept of the idea that she doesn't want children? And I absolutely mean it. Something has socialized her most base biological desire and need has altered it. That's not something that just happened from drinking Coca-Cola or something. She didn't walk under UV rays one day and it was just knocked out her reproductive desires. No, that was socializing her biological imperative out of her, to where it's worked in reverse. It's in The Red Queen. It's a difficult listen because the guy just carries on about atheism so much. I find it difficult. But if you're interested in the scientific study of human reproduction, or just biological reproduction between creatures, but they eventually eat up to humans, and from a very, very scientific point of view and its observations, that is an excellent book. But yeah, guys, we are on an hour and 17 minutes. If you got some quality questions, drop them now. I'm going to go through a few, but otherwise we're going to look at closing things down. If you guys want to drop something or whatever else you see a question, let me know. I'm going to go through the rest of these, and if we get some quality questions, I'm going to bring them up. But otherwise, we're looking at winding things down here, inshallah.
Muhammad Jalad asking about the 80-20 rule. What do you think about America?
What is your opinion on the 80-20 rules and the 80% of women want 20% of the best men? I think it's correct, especially for our time. I don't think it was always the case, but I think it is more than ever now with social media and, how it's given women access to men. I've met women from across the world, and I've gone and married them. Under different circumstances, it would have been unheard of us ever meeting and marrying. And so for these women, I am the highest value male, that they can come across. There's women 200-300 kilometers away from me in Germany. And a sister told me this. A sister here in Germany, she's like, she said, I've met like 60, 70 men. That's what she said. I've met 60, 70 men looking for a husband. She says, and you tick every last box. It's unbelievable. Just 200 years ago, there would have been no way we would have ever met. Under no circumstances. And we're being in the same country, we would have never met. She would have had to pick a man outside of her direct social circle or her town, village, whatever else, or her direct region, that her family or somebody would have made her meet. Now she has the option to pick a guy that ticks every single box. Otherwise, in the past, she wouldn't have had this option. So yeah, you find that women are picking, according to their standard, the highest possible value man they can get. And they don't care where that man's from, how far it has to be, because global travel and communication has made them accessible to one another. So it's absolutely true. This is why you find so many sisters out here saying we can't find the man we want, and so many brothers out here saying we can't find the woman we want. How is it possible so many people are missing each other? Why? Because all the men are chasing a certain type of women, and all the women are chasing a very small percentage of men. And so obviously, if the women are all aiming for these guys up here, and all the guys here are aiming for the women, there's no way they can connect to each other. And that's why you see this disconnect between sisters saying, I can't find a husband, and brothers saying, I can't find a wife. It's impossible that you can't find a husband or a wife. It's impossible. So many people are looking, unless everybody's looking for something else. And most of the time, it's the sisters being very picky and choosy about the men that they want to marry. Because guys in general is like, yo, don't be a tub of lard, and don't be a complete jerk. And they're mostly down. But sisters have a criteria for men that is so exact, that very few men fit inside of it. So the 80-20 rule, absolutely, it's in play right now. It's probably more like the 10-90 rule.
Yeah, it is between 10 and 20 actually. Like the numbers support that claim statistically.
Okay.
And okay, I will say something about the 80-20 rule. I believe the 80-20 rule, in short sentence, is the product of open hypergamy with social media accessibility. The combination of open hypergamy and social media accessibility, the product out of this combination is the 80-20 rule. You know why? I'll let you know why. Like 50 years ago, the average girl in the village, on the small town, her choices of men used to be around 10 to maybe 30 men.
She didn't know any better.
At most. Like probably like her cousins and the people around her family, the family friends, and there are 20 to 30 men. But the same woman right now with the internet, with the internet access, have options as hundreds of thousands of men, and they all compliment her. They all send her hearts and likes and DMs and everything. She just have to show in any social media, Instagram, Facebook, anything, and the men's will came like insects, really attack. So this amount of accessibility for us as a human, we never tested that in our human history.
Correct.
We never tested that. How the heck I can be friend with AbuAmerican? He's in Germany and I'm in Jordan.
Exactly.
3,000 kilometers or 5,000 kilometers away. How? We never tested that in our history. So the accessibility of social media and the open hypergamy is a combination, and it raises the women standards to a delusional level. There's the female delusion calculator for the United States. You can use it, guys, or girls, to calculate the level of delusion. If you rate less than 5% of the population, you're delusional. You have to lower your standard. Go ahead, Myron.
Yeah, no, I was just confirming what you said. I like to use the analogy of the 31 flavors. If you're familiar with the Baskin Robbins, ice cream franchise, when we were growing up, at least myself, I can say, okay, we only knew vanilla and we need chocolate, right? But then suddenly you come upon a store that serves 31 flavors, you're gonna go buck wild. I mean, you're just gonna go crazy. And that's, I think, what's happening to women today. You hit it spot on. I mean, the circle of potential suitors to a woman before the internet was basically her neighborhood, her school, or just family, extended family, or whatever. But today, you're absolutely right. I mean, she could grab a village boy if she wants, if that village boy has internet access. I mean, really. So yeah, I'm just validating what you say. I think it's the open hypergamy, and now they see the number of options that they have, and I think that only adds fuel to their misery and fire to not be able to find a good suitor, because then they're just fooling
spoiled
themselves.
by choices.
Right.
Give me 1 second. MLD John is actually in the chat. I'm gonna send the link. I don't know if you can come on, but John, check your WhatsApp, man. So I got some questions here. 2 questions I want to cover in specific. Hopefully John can join us for the short time that we're left on air. John's my man. Let me see. Okay, so been bent with the quality questions. So she says, what last question? What's better, sincere, since a monogamous relationship a sincere monogamous relationship or insincere, very transactional polygynous relationship. There's no mutual exclusivity here. As a man who's practiced both, you can have a sincere polygynous relationship. And Ling Ling, my wife, she can tell you, I married a sister. We were living together here at the house. Two sisters actually, and each time that the relationship ended, it was very upsetting for both of us, because these were people who actually came into our lives, who lived with them. Relationship was formed, bonds were formed between her and her co-wife, between me and them, and so it was not easy, and it wasn't difficult when things fell apart. So you can have a sincere relationship, but it all depends, of course, on the man and your co-wife. And two times, I'm just gonna say it kind of hurt us. Kind of hurt us two times. When I had to let some sisters go because of, their very poor behaviors Islamically. These weren't minor issues; they were major issues. It wasn't something that could be overlooked. And it wasn't easy. And it wasn't easy on her. It wasn't easy on me. So it can be sincere, but there's issues involved. Yeah. In terms of stability and whatnot. So completely, there's no mutual exclusivity here. Golden Bee asked me, have you ever married a single mother, and what was your experience? I've married multiple single mothers. Ling Ling is a single mother, actually. She has children. I don't advise it. I have found the proverbial unicorn with Ling Ling, but my general experience has been very poor. When you find a lot of warnings out there about it, I tend to hold that they're 99% correct. That's not to say that you can't find a good sister. I found an excellent sister with Ling Ling. I mean, dude, salute to her. Mashallah, Allahumma barak. May Allah continue to preserve her upon what she's on. But I have another wife, and she was a virgin when I married her. I can't say that I'm looking for another single mother. I can't say that that's something I want to do. There's a lot of issues. I mean, I have all of the hangups that you talk about marrying single mothers. I don't have them. I have authority in the house with the children. She doesn't interfere with that. All these other hangups, from what you hear in terms of horror stories with single mothers, I don't have this, alhamdulillah. But that took the peak and the actual 100% A game of my vetting guide to find that. I mean, she got ran through the ringer with my vetting guide, so, my man, hold on. John, what's up, man?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Everybody who doesn't know this MLD John, he's not Muslim. He runs like men's channel and whatnot, men's community, Tokyo Crypto Show. Check him out over there. If you are down to crypto, boy, you need to be on Tokyo Crypto Show. I don't know what you've been doing if you ain't been watching that. This man here is the mad scientist on all this. This dude put me on game. He put me on Polkadot. This guy put me on like Kusama. This guy put me on, what else did you put me on, man? He put me on all the good stuff that made me a bunch of money, mashallah. So John is my man. I like this dude. I love this dude, man. So yeah.
I've never talked to MLD, but I'm just glad to see him sober. It's always a good thing.
I've never seen him drunk, actually.
I've been sober for a very long time. I don't know what that means.
Every time he joins the Rule Zero, he's out there partying.
Oh, those are older episodes. That was like in spring, but yeah. No, it's like 5:30 in the morning here in Tokyo. But I just heard what you guys were saying. I wanted to comment on somebody. Like somebody said, like the females and all the options are making them crazy. But the thing is, it's not an option. It's a perception of an option. Yeah. Because what is an option? A real option is they think that this guy is going to stay with them and take care of them and be the guy that they are idealizing. They don't know that this guy has trouble. They don't know that this guy, like a lot of these girls, I was dealing with a girl one time, right? And I told her from the get-go, I said, look, I'm just not going to be monogamous right now. I'm not in that position, and I'm not in the position for you to be trying to put your claws in me right now. And she accepted. Well, lo and behold, couple things down the line, right? She's like, well, listen, you need to be monogamous or whatever. And I was just like, well, look, it's not going to happen. I already told you from literally day one. right? Just like you need to chill out. I'll make the choice if I decide to be monogamous or not. Now I'm a self-made guy, pretty good looking, pretty know how to push the attraction buttons, know how to make a girl fall in love with me, know how to keep her in pocket, do pretty well for myself financially as well. And the chick left because she thought that she could do better. She thought that she will go find another guy that pushes all the buttons like I do, that makes her say, ooh wee in the bed, that can provide for her, that's a leader, that's dominant, and she also thinks she's gonna find all of that plus the financial security, and he's gonna be monogamous. She really believed that was possible for her. Like, once you make above a certain point, not saying that money's
You mean
everything, but
pseudo options, right?
right, because once you make past $400,000 a year, now you're in the top 1%. And so any other guy that she tries to take the crapshoot with, she literally has a 99% failure rate stacked against her. But she's like, I think I could do better. It's delusional.
Yeah.
They
Spot
are
on.
delusional.
The internet
Yeah.
does cause like a serious problem. Like a lot of women, they have these inboxes full of guys. And see, the thing is that women are confused. Getting a man, and I got this from you actually, this statement, getting a man isn't the woman's goal. Being kept by a man is the goal.
Yep.
If you're just getting passed around from guy to guy, I don't care if it's just in your inbox, even if you never physically touch them. If you get passed around by 100 dudes in your inbox, what are you doing? You're wasting your time until you are no longer young. And if you're actually physically getting involved with these guys, it's even worse by exponential folds. So
ruins them.
Absolutely.
Every dick that goes inside them that they don't commit to ruins them. And these girls, bro, listen, this whole female empowerment thing is the biggest con. And guess who it got played on? It got played on women by men in control. Because you know what it does? All these girls, that's what I was telling. I was doing some coaching in King Dre's private webinar earlier today. And it's so funny. These girls, guys, when you do a little digging behind the scenes, they got no money. They got bad credit. Their houses are dirty. They got fucking abortions. Their pussies stank. Like they don't know how to fucking cope emotionally. They're on drugs. They're alcoholics.
We have a predominantly Muslim crowd here. If you could to bring it down and out to the guys, please.
My bad. I'm very sorry, guys.
Thanks, man.
But I'm not lying.
Yeah.
I'm not lying to what I said. I'm sorry. Just there's no filter. But in certain situations, like for the men, because some men are slaves and they're bounded by this perception of female perfection, and that's what they simp. But like behind the scenes, these girls' lives are a train wreck in every sense of the way. They are self-destructing at the fastest rate in human history.
Here's the scarier thing too, is that I am starting to see that they are now venturing into the realm of self-hatred and mutilation in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary. Mm-hmm. That's the next wave coming.
Now, guys, listen to what John just said. He comes from a totally different world. He's in an unfettered world where he can just go and have access to women easily. And the man is quite good at what he does in terms of access to women. This is why I listen to him, because whether people want to hear this or not, whether Muslims want to hear this or not, game helps your relationships. Games help keep your relationships together. So I take this knowledge, and this is why, alhamdulillah, I have good relationships. But he made a point here. Guys are so lost in this perfectionist idea of women. And what do I always tell you guys about? What's the word I use? Apotheosis of women. I said, stop making the apotheosis of women. What is apotheosis? Making them into perfect angelic type of beings. You got to stop doing it. That's not what they are.
Angelization.
Yeah, and in not discrediting Islam or anything, but in multiple religions and in multiple cultures, you see these religions, they're depicting women as the evil ones. I'm not saying women are evil, but I'm just saying, like, just look at the situation. I think AbuAmerican said the other day on his show, which is I was watching at home, such a good show, when he says, given a woman has a right choice and a wrong choice in front of her, she's gonna choose the wrong choice. And it's women like
are good at bad decisions.
I had this one girl, right, dating, bro, hilarious. loudmouth feminist. I don't need no man. I don't need this. Blah 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 blah. I dated her for a while. It was good. It was good. Fun times. I ended up getting to her, going to her house one time because she was hiding something. I was like, oh my gosh, is this girl married? Like, what the heck are you hiding in your house? And I like finally pressured her to let me into the house. I go inside it. This is a massive feminist. Like, I'm talking Twitter, everything. I go inside her house. A hoarder, a little hoarder.
Yee.
I had to like wade through garbage and push that over. I'm not joking. I'm not over exaggerating.
God.
And this girl, guys, women are masters at putting. Women are master marketers.
Disguise.
But behind the scenes, it is chaos. I
Filters
don't know.
is real, guys.
Dude, I'll tell you this.
I would even say
you'll
I
learn.
would even say it's not just behind the scenes; it's within them. If you look at them deep in their eyes, you will see there's chaos there.
No. But like for the average guy, they don't believe that. The
Yeah,
average guy
that's true,
thinks
that's
that these
true.
girls are perfect. The average guy, especially in America, he thinks, oh, women are better than me. I'm inferior
Yeah,
because I'm a man.
The
I'm a second-class
Disney
citizen.
effect.
And by
Right?
the way, this is the consequences of socialization. It is not biological, because on average, the male, like by biology, they have more self confidence and self esteem than the average woman. That's the effect of testosterone. So by biology, you should have more self esteem than a woman. But the consequences of the socialization, the feminization, and the gynocentric order that we live in the last 60 years, it seems to me that like young women have more self-esteem than young boys. And that's catastrophic.
Mm.
Let me just shout out to QRSATG, £2 super chat or €2 super chat. Shukran. Yeah, my wife says here, Miss AbuAmerican, she says, yeah, they put makeup on. Not what if it's not to cover up something else? Yeah, they're basically it's a mask, basically.
It
Yeah.
is. Dude, they can get up there,
Exactly.
like, they can get up there and look, guys. I have seen girls on one of my hobbies in Tokyo, right? I see these career women on LinkedIn talking about I just did this big project, I did this big project, and I'm so empowered and women in the workforce. And then I open up seeking arrangement and I see them on there literally selling themselves to men in Tokyo.
God.
It's like, well, if you just do a little digging,
Yeah.
you're gonna find out a lot. But it's
Yeah.
all an act. It's all an act. And then now more than ever, these girls need a masculine man. That's the biggest currency you could bring to the table is being masculine man.
What have I been saying, guys?
Yeah.
What have I been saying the whole time?
Yeah.
You see, you've never been on my channel before. What have I been saying the whole time? Get your money right. Go get the gym. Go join a fight club. Get your confidence up. Everything that has to do with masculinity. Because why? That's what women need. It's not a matter of doing it because you want to get the girl. They need this. No, just like when you do what you're supposed to be doing, the house, the car, all the toys for the boys that come along with as the reward for doing what you're supposed to be doing, she's the reward also. But it's not only that, it works in reverse because now you are her prize also. You gentlemen, when you do what you're supposed to be doing as a masculine man, looking at the competition out there right now, you are absolutely the prize. What are you doing? And it's easy right now. It's never been easier to be the prize, to just outshine you. It's easy to be the 20% right now.
Just don't be fat and have a good career. Like literally, that's it. And don't simp. Like if you can do that, like you're in the top 20%.
That's true. And another point I would like to make on that is, we always, as males, we always say establish dominance, right? Well, that applies to with women too. And men should not be scared to establish dominance with
Dude,
women.
they'll force it out of you if you don't. That's why when your woman tries you, she's like, I need a good a good smiting right now. I need daddy to like put me in check. I'm not feeling safe right now.
Yeah, we were just having that conversation early too.
This one, right? This one the other day. She was in my living room. I said, hey, she passed out from working, right? I was sleeping in my bed. I said, baby, get up. She said, I said, come to bed. Let's chill. Like, you're sleeping on the floor. You work until you pass now. And I don't want my girl like overworking and getting wrinkles and looking ugly for me. For what? For her
Mhm.
corporation? For her cute $30,000 a year salary? No thanks. Right? I'm not trying to have no ugly girl follow me around with wrinkles on her face. So get up, let's get into bed, let's get some
There you
rested.
go.
She was like, no, I don't want to. I said, well, listen, you're gonna get up and you're gonna get in bed, or you're gonna get up and you're gonna get out my front door, because you're not gonna tell me what to do in my house where I pay the rent. And I said, that's the rules here. Okay, you have your rules and I have mine. And if you don't like it, the front door is right here. It's a quick 3-meter walk. Just boom, pop outside, go home, go sleep in your little shithole. Sorry,
Yeah.
if I can't cuss. So,
I believe, guys, like you got that study that talking about the vast majority of women getting attracted to the dark personality trinity.
Dark
Dark triad personality, yeah.
Yeah. So what is the base core of all the majority of women getting attracted to those personality? It is two things: assertive, dominance. They do not tolerate bullshit. That's very attractive. That's
See,
very
this is
attractive,
power.
the female nature. Yeah. They do not
Exactly.
tolerate
Power.
bullshit. They put
Power.
women in their place. It is my way or the highway.
Yeah, and it's not like being a dictator. It's just like living, because you know the thing is this days women's standards are too high for men, and men have no standards for women. You know,
That's deep.
they women's standard, like these girls, bro. These girls are delusional. This girl, like, I've been buying Bitcoin since 2016. That's all I'll say. And this girl's like, yeah, I can replace this guy. Like, you have a 99% chance going
Not.
against you, just financially. Not talking about red pill, not talking about charisma, not talking about bedroom game, but just in that. She's just like, yeah, I could do better.
What do I say, guys? Women are good at
know,
making bad decisions.
I was watching one of Myron Gaines' show like 3 days ago, and
Mhm.
they pull up the delusion calculator, the female delusion calculator.
I got
And there is
standardsbro.com.
yeah, and the
I have
like
to write this down.
there is one of the women. She's delusion to the degree she just described man that never existed. It told her that 0.0%, like
That's
6 foot
true.
tall,
Yes.
yeah,
That's very
6'4" and 100,000% black
Yeah.
guy with exclude marriage people with not
Mhm.
fat in shape. They told her like the result was 0.0%. You know what the other woman was telling her? Don't worry, you can find him. What?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
0% of the population. You gonna
Delusion.
manufacture him? How you gonna find him?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Abu, it's iGotStandardsBro.com.
I got standardsbro.com. I'm
Check it
gonna
out.
look this up. We might have to do a show about this.
Oh goodness.
I could screen share if you wanted me to do a quick example.
Yes.
Oh Lord.
Here, I'll show you. I got it
Yeah,
up
go
on my
ahead.
channel. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is what Coach Kareem's talking about from Fresh Event. I think I'm the one that told him about this website. So here it is, right? Female delusion
Oh, yeah.
calculator, right? So you just scroll here. Let's say you want a man between age 30 and 45, exclude married, any color, race, whatever, minimum 6 foot, height, exclude obese guys, and $100,000 a year. Not a lot of money anymore, right? To be honest, it still is reputable, but like you're not balling at $100,000 a year. So, let's just put at the lower end of quote rich, right? And then hit find out here. And this is based upon the statistical data. You have a 0.044% chance to score a guy between ages 30 45 in the U.S. that's not obese and make $100,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, sisters, what do we have here? We have sisters now. They want a guy who's like in their age range, about 24, has his own house, has his own car.
Impossible.
Yeah, exactly. He is he's gonna pay her a 50,000 British pound maher. That's a dowry.
Jeez.
You can't find a guy who's well established in life that can give you this stuff. And they're looking for brothers that are 24 that can give them that. Now, unless this guy's an NFT crypto, just super genius, he's not out there.
He's not going to look sexy if he's a crypto genius.
Weird geek, huh?
Wow. Yeah, there's that too.
Sexy.
And then have all the women want him. So
yeah, and
that's
the
why
percentage gonna be one per million. And if you found this guy, does he want you?
And will he be faithful?
Exactly.
Logically
Thank you for
speaking,
saying
would he
that,
be
Coach
faithful?
It's like,
You know?
even if you found him, you have to land him, and that's not gonna happen.
and then she's gonna have to share him because he knows he doesn't have to be monogamous. He knows it.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Absolutely.
Like when you get to the that's why I was so shocked with that chick, right? She's just like, no. I was like, well, I mean, have fun flying economy. Like, it's
I economy.
you know.
Ouch.
No offense to anybody who flies economy, but just just my little thing. That's just
Hey, it's real though.
it is like you had a shot at the title, and you're like,
It's
nah,
Southwest.
I'm gonna go.
See, this is why I like John. He's savage. You keep it real. It's like he had grown up in first class of business. Now you in economy again, rethinking your life decisions.
Right? In every aspect of
American,
life.
let me add for that, because some women, like, they're delusional to the degree that they will say,
It's all right.
that they will say that I will find them outside of America, outside of the United States. Let me tell you that 80% of the global population of the humanity is living on less than $10 per day. That's less than $5,000 per year. 80% of the humanity. So you are, if you are in the United States, you are in the top echelon of the humanity from socioeconomic standpoint. So do not even imagine that you will find by your standards someone outside of the Western world. No, you will never find him. If someone have have this standard outside of the Western world, he's probably have 4 wives and 25 lovers.
Yeah, and
I'm
you
just
could do
saying.
it. You could do it because it's like, because listen, right? What does a woman really bring to the table? She scratched my back. Please just don't go bang a bunch of dudes behind my back. Clean up the house, and have sex with me when I want to. Right? What do I bring to the table? Genius intellect, financial abundance, leader of men. I can take care of all this stuff. You are just cooking and cleaning and having sex with me. I can very easily replace you. You cannot very easily replace me. And
Absolutely.
because you have to factor in this too. Out of the top 20% of men, financially speaking alone, what percentage of those guys are red pill? What percentage of those guys are actual masculine dominant men? Because that right there, you got to chop another 20%. From the 20%, you have to chop down to another 20%.
AKA Will Smith.
Correct. Yes.
Rest in peace, bro. Fucking
Rest in peace.
pouring out for that guy, bro.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was looking at New York status of of the men. They said 9 to 12% of men in New York are gays. So you have to exclude gays, you have to exclude obese, and you have to exclude weak men, you have to exclude unattractive, and you will find like 1% of the 1%. Does they want you?
Yeah, and they don't. Girls are delusional because they think just because a guy wants to sleep with them that they have value. But guys will pretty much bang anything, especially if there's no effort involved.
This is obviously a joke statement. Sorry.
Yeah, but the real value is if a man wants to put a ring on your finger and keep you.
Yes,
that's real value. When a man says, "Wow, I've done many things with this woman, in a physical manner, and I just want to keep her around. I like I like her energy. I like the way she folds my clothes. I like the way she scratches my beard. I like the way she tells me, kiss me on the cheek, goodbye, I'm gonna miss you. I like when she sends me these little sweet text messages, right? That right there is real value from a man's perspective. Like when the guy's like, I've already done everything to this woman physically, I still want to keep her around, even because this has happened to me. I have lost complete sexual attraction for a woman before. but I still have wanted to keep her around because her personality was golden. She was a golden woman, like just very woman of good high character. You know, sorry, am I like being bad boy?
Yeah, this is the show's called Halal Bad Boy. He says you're not a halal bad boy.
Oh, sorry, just a bad boy.
But you made a good point that I just made earlier before you came on. I said, it's more important for the man to like you than to actually love you in the sense that women understand love.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want a guy in love with you. It's a woman's job to be in love.
You got to come on the show more often, man. You got to drop it more often, man. You got to come on.
Whenever, bro. Guys, AbuAmerican is one of my best friends that I've never met in real life. This guy helps me out with so much stuff. He's real. He's super real. This guy is like, from a global perspective. Because I'm a half white, half Trinidadian American living in Tokyo, and this guy, he makes sense with what he says to a racial anomaly like me.
And let me add that I completely agree with John. He's also very humble. He doesn't like to take much credit, but he is top-notch guy. Let's put it that way.
I'm getting shy, guys. I'm gonna have to hide off the camera.
Is that you blushing? Is that you blushing? Oh my god!
There's no red cheeks.
It's cheeks. Yeah.
But I just want to tell men, like, guys, like, I'm for all the men, because I'm an ally to all men. I don't care where you're from, and if you hate me or love me, whatever. But I just say this, like, guys, like, really, you guys gotta like stop idolizing these women, bro. Stop pedestalizing them. Listen, this is not politically correct advice or whatever, but bro, if you get the opportunity, go through her phone, look at her bank statements, look at her credit score. Like, look for signs of competency, and you will see failing. Like, man, like, my lord, this is what I'm sweating. Like,
I will go one step further, John. Like, you can look at her DNA analysis if you're trying to have babies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
If she have diabetes, she have like a lot of genetics transmitted disease, like transferred diseases, like in her family. That's very important for your offspring. You don't need that.
So here's one, right? If you ever visit her place, ask to use the restroom and open up her medicine cabinet and see what's in there.
Ooh.
They do that to us. They do that to us, bro.
Yeah,
I never thought of that.
I had a S tier snooper come through my house the other day, bro. These girls, you can't trust them, man. Like, they will snoop through your place.
I never.
Walking facades is what I call them.
Whoa.
Walking facades.
He said MLD John and I was making you Walmart golem proof. All right, guys, we're up on 2 hours. This is actually one of the longest shows I've done in a long time. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Thanks for all the super chat, guys. I'll actually try and have John on more often. Actually, I talk to him regularly on WhatsApp and whatnot. I'm in one of his men's communities. I don't know if he has time for my men's community. You're more than welcome to join. Obviously, Marlon's in there. Everybody's in there. Actually, Coach Kareem's in there. So
definitely.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Anybody want to drop anything? You guys got something coming up, some projects, whatever else? I got cowife.com. And what else do I have? And just check out AbuAmerican /store. You can find products, one-to-one consultations, vetting guide, whatnot. Anybody else?
Yeah, just you can visit redpillarabic.com, guys. You can book a consultation there. You can read my articles in the blog. And John, it is it is my pleasure to talk to you. Really, I used to saw you in Rule Zero with Rollo Tomasi and the rest of guys.
Same here.
I've been off of YouTube for about a month. I've been taking October and November off, just to doing a lot of personal development and monk mode and
nice.
Doing just detoxing, and I'm leveling up. I'm doing coaching every day with a lot of men in my community and leveling up. So when I come back, I have something fresh for the audience. But I was sending the link, guys. This is how much I respect this man. It's 5:55 a.m. in the morning over here. And I just got done watching the movie, and I said, this man wanted me to come on, and I respect this man. So here we are.
Yeah.
Shukran, man. Alhamdulillah. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. We will see you on the next show. I might do a random live. Who knows? Keep your eyes open. But until then,
John, is that vodka? I just want to know.
Sober, baby. This is water. Sober
I
as a
finally get a
priest.
chance to get my heart.
Marlon, the title's halal, okay? If it was vodka, we don't want to know about it. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're out.
All right, folks.